All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. I think my mic is kind of hot. That's okay. I'm going with natural light again today because it's just too dang hot for extra lights. For crying out loud. I can't take it. Try to do the show that I did yesterday. By the way, my show Brain Fallout is every Wednesday now at 4 p.m. So instead of being here at 4 p.m., I will be on Rumble at 4 p.m. So just head on over to Rumble. On Wednesdays at 4 p.m., that's where I'll be. Just letting you know. Just a little PSA. Yeah, I did the show from inside the house yesterday. It wasn't too much better. It was okay. It was slightly better, but I didn't think there was a big difference. It is like definitely 5 degrees hotter in this studio. At least 5 degrees hotter. And anyways, that's what happened. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ultra high carb life. Greetings from Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. My God. Anyways, good to see you. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, Twitter. Rockfin people, are you there? Denver, William, got a couple other people. Hey, men and women, if you're watching the show, do me a favor and like the show up. Share the show up. Follow me on Twitter at BlackBearNews1, the number 1. Golly gee, I think I even have something to show you here. There's my Black Bear News. Twitter, follow me there so you can find out what's happening, right? I often, it's pretty much, I have a little static. Anybody else here static before I fix it? Anybody? Debasish Nayak, Trump addressed President of Ukraine as Putin? Ha ha. Okay, that should have fixed it. He addressed the president of Ukraine as Putin. That's funny, actually. That's actually funny. If not weird. But, you know, I think that's Trump's forte, is weird. But he's way funnier than Biden. He's funny, you know, from a distance. He's funny over there. Anyways. Let's see. Well, it's Thursday. What are we talking about today? Hurricane Beryl. Still some aftermath from that. There's been lots of talk about the environmental problems with Bitcoin. And you know my stance on Bitcoin. I think you all know. Sure, I think Bitcoin is a problem environmentally, but as much as anything else is. And I think that there is an actual end to Bitcoin mining at some point. Oh, Biden introduced him as President Putin. Okay. So not even Trump. Okay. Wrong person. Okay. I mean, if you think there's environmental costs to Bitcoin, think of the environmental costs of our regular currency, the U.S. dollar. That is way bigger environmental costs than anything else, right? Involved in way more environmental destruction. But not to say that it's okay for Bitcoin. But anyways, we're going to talk about an as yet realized problem with Bitcoin, which is the noise of Bitcoin mining. There's noise involved. Oh, my sound just did something weird. My sound just did the weird thing that it does. And Houston is without power. Lots of people in Houston are without power, and it's causing issues. We missed a story from the other day about fiberglass and fish. We might try and suss that out. People on Twitter, where you at? If you're on Twitter and you're watching me on Twitter, repost, like, do the thing. Chat, send me a chat from Twitter. Let me know that you're on Twitter watching the show. Hey, ho, ho. Bitcoin mining has got to go. I don't know. That's my slogan. I like Bitcoin, so whatever. More than liking Bitcoin, I like what it represents. And, there's lots of other coins out there that represent kind of the same thing. And people will fight me on that, and that's okay. I'm actually a fan of Solana, personally. I think Solana's pretty cool. Nobody ever talks about Binance, the Binance network, and BNB being like one of the majorest coins and networks out there. So, if anybody cares about crypto, if you know what I'm talking about, cool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's cool. Rarely do people talk about the strength of the Binance coin and how reliable it is, how doggone just reliable it is. Gigabane says an open source for all digital currency that is linked to something material is okay because the value cannot be messed with. Sure. I think that it's kind of awesome. What is digital currency? Well, it's kind of a made up currency. It's not counterfeiting, but it's like, imagine the power of it. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but imagine the power of creating your own currency, right? Because we live under the thumb of an economic system and a government, right? Most people live under the thumbs of the government and economic systems that create currencies that they control, that they assign a value, that and they do things with this currency that may affect you, and they do. So imagine being able to create your own currency and do what you want with it, right? And your currency that you create can have a value that is based on, whatever it is people are using that currency for, or how much money people have invested in this currency, all kinds of factors. And that's really powerful. That's actually, if you don't understand the power of that, that's why whenever people are like, I get people are down on cryptocurrencies, they think it's a Ponzi or a scam or a scheme or whatever. Yes, so is our fiat currency. But if you can create your own currency and it has its own value, or you invest in a currency that you like that has its own value that, is not necessarily controlled by the government or the people in charge, that's really powerful. That's effing powerful. Right? Super duper powerful. That gives people a lot of power. That's why the US government doesn't like crypto. I think other governments are kind of like 50-50 on it. But the US government is like, yeah, we need to control this whole thing because that's who we are. We are control freaks. Okay, anyways, that's my little spiel about crypto. Well, anyways, we're going to talk about all these things and more on Black Bear News. We welcome all bears, by the way. All bears. All are welcome. All are bears. All bears are welcome. I know that's not a black bear at the beginning of that little part. The name is Black Bear News, but, we're inclusive. That's how we do. Let's get into it. This is already super late, and I really have to leave at 5. Is it at what's his name? McKay? Adam McKay? The guy that produced Don't Look Up. What's his name? I think it's Adam McKay. Wait, hold on. Adam McKay. Anyways, this is his YouTube account, his Twitter account. And they do cool things like put together like a weekly disaster, weather disaster series. And they put this out. This new Exxon ad is surprisingly candid.
Again, a world where the air is pure and crisp and clean and fills your lungs with joy. A world where you can drink water from any river or creek, and your house will still be there tomorrow if it rains. Here at Exxon, we believe in that world, and we're working hard to make sure that our customers believe that we believe in that world. We understand the road has been bumpy and that we haven't always done the best we could. Sure, our own scientists accurately predicted catastrophic climate change 60 years ago, but we didn't want you to know about it. That's why we spent billions on ads and media manipulation, covering it up. Then we rigged the government so leaders in both parties would do our bidding. And yes, we did everything in our power to block clean energy tech, so we could keep force-feeding you oil via expanding global infrastructure, monstrous vehicles, and disposable plastics and chemicals that don't go away. Ever. And yes, every now and then you squawk about how evil we are, but then we drop gas prices a nickel and you shut right back up. Do you have any idea how easy it is to get you off our backs with a little bullshit about your responsibilities to the planet, about your carbon footprint, pretending plastic recycling actually makes a difference? You're letting us get away with it, you dumb bitches. All of our tricks work. The world is a burning, out-of-control charnel house. The last generation to die of old age has already been born, and you still let oil executives freely show their face in public. We're just one company, but you're 7 billion people. Get off your asses and do something, you fucking peasants! Exxon. Fuck me. Fuck you.
That is really great. That is really great. I really like that. I don't know who created that, Gene. I don't know, but pretty good. And so right. So right. I'm wondering if there's going to be a day when people understand that the pollution thing is the same. Climate change is the same as pollution, right? The pollution is, the weird divide between alternative journalists and people that understand climate change. It's like everybody agrees that, some people think it's just the corporations that are screwing up all the polluters, the big polluters that are screwing up the planet. It couldn't possibly be all of us together using those polluting items, right? Using that polluting technology, being the end user of said pollution. They can't possibly put us in the mix there. And yeah, they're in that video. They were correct in saying, we're making it about your consumption and whether you're recycling and what you're doing to the planet, and yeah, we should be holding the people who make the stuff and ship the stuff and drill the stuff and mine the stuff and concoct the stuff. We should be holding them accountable, more accountable than anybody else. But we're all part of this. We are all part of this. Even if you live on a mountaintop. I was going to say side, but top, side. You live on a mountain. Even if you live in a mountain, or now you're in a mountain. Even if you live near a mountain, or let's say adjacent. let's say you live in the mountains and you're off the grid and you don't have any part in the system. Let me tell you something. You're still complicit. Why? Because you allow the other 7,999,999 people to fuck up the planet. Right? You're still, in some way, right? Yes, removing yourself is a great thing to do. Absolutely. And if more people banded together and removed themselves from the system, that would certainly take energy and power away from the system and give it to the people. Absolutely. But until we actually stop, you know what I mean? It doesn't really, if half the planet was living righteously and the other half were just, just running amok, polluting at will, chopping down trees and pissing in the ocean, So just standing around going, well, I'm not part of that system. Well, that's not going to stop them from destroying the planet. So, unfortunately, this is a community effort, right? So it isn't about the end user's carbon footprint necessarily, but it is about both the end user's carbon footprint and the people that make the shit. We buy the shit. They make the shit. We buy. Do you understand? They make the shit. We buy the shit. We use, they force us into a system in which we have to use all their shit. Yep, that's true. Again, until you remove yourself from the system or overthrow the system or make the system different, in some ways you're still, giving some kind of tacit approval to what's going on. I know. I know it sucks. It's not something that people like to hear. Demanding a different system. How about that? We demand a different system. We demand you cease and desist with your system. Salt Laker says, yeah, but without American consumerism, Chinese children wouldn't have jobs. Or Indian children, Bangladeshis. Anyways. Biden presser running 2 hours late. What's going on with Biden? Is he going to announce that he's retiring today? Today might be the day. Maybe tomorrow. They might do it tomorrow. This is Houston, guys. West Side and Houston. Huge issues with finding gas, limits on food, over 600 signal lights out, and over 1.3 million residents without power. These are people... I mean, this just looks like a traffic jam. It looks like a traffic jam. But are these people running around Houston trying to find food and gas? Anyways, people are without power, having a hard time finding food, and guess what? This could be you at any moment. This could be what an extreme weather event or collapsing infrastructure does for you at any moment. So, that's a good one. Salt Lakers. Also, Hurricane Beryl brought with it twisters. A whole bunch of tornadoes. This was the path of Hurricane Beryl. Here, have you guys noticed in the past few years that hurricanes tend to last a lot longer over land? It used to be that they died out really quickly. They would make landfall, and then they would, they'd pretty much kind of stall out, lose all their strength. But what's been happening in the last few years is that the hurricanes make landfall and they just keep on going. There was what was the hurricane? There was a hurricane that hit Texas a few years ago and kept going, and the storm eventually reached New York City and flooded out the subway in New York. Flooded out a bunch of people's homes. That was a hurricane that hit from the Gulf Coast and brought weather disaster to New York City. That is overland. That is wild. You think, Deline, is that a harp thing? Is that a weather control thing? I don't know. Maybe they have more energy. I don't know. Incredible twisters. Hurricane Beryl will be talked about for a long time by many for memorable tropical systems. Over 200 tornado warnings were issued from July 8th to 10th, the most since Hurricane Ivan in 2004. The strongest tornado so far occurred in the West Kentucky, Southern Indiana risk zone, with an EF3 rated tornado so far. Of all the days, that area probably underperformed the most. The final day in New York State was the most tornado warnings ever issued in a single day in the National Weather Service history of New York. National Weather Service Buffalo issued their highest tally of tornado warnings ever in a single day at 18. National Weather Service Shreveport issued 67 tornado warnings themselves, the most ever in a single day too. And here's the path, right? Look at that. That's wild. That is wild. That was the path of Beryl through the last couple days, and tornado warnings all along. Beryl was somewhat weak when it made landfall. Yes, extrabola, yeah. Not as strong as other, but did plenty of damage. Look at this from Tucson, Arizona. This is a wild video. Strong winds caused several power poles to fall over in the street right in front and right over these cars. These cars were draped in power lines. I would be, if anything, made me pull a Biden and poop my Depends. Sorry. It would be this. It'd be power lines falling down onto my car. Live power lines. Jesus Christ. I would be absolutely terrified. Did y'all see this? This is crazy. So high winds. So many things can take out the infrastructure, right? High winds, lots and lots and lots of rain. Lots of ice. They're having in Chile, in Argentina, they're having a cold snap like they haven't had in years. No sharks? Oh no. No sharks. Y'all are a couple of comedians. Just a couple. In China, again, with the China extreme rainfall, this seems to be, a months-long occurrence. Chongqing Yunyang received 320 millimeters of rainfall in 24 hours, and the local rivers exceeded the highest water level in history. China just getting smacked around, it seems, daily. Let's see. Hitting a couple of posts from the other day that I missed. Honduras was getting slapped around. Or Honduras. Honduras. That's how I'm going to pronounce it from now on. Honduras. Temperatures were so high in Southern California, multiple vehicles broke down from overheating. And you know what? Here's the catch-22 about the air conditioning, especially in a car. If you run the air, it's hot as heck, and you're going up over a mountain, or maybe you're just driving down the road. It doesn't even have to be a mountain. It doesn't even have to be on a mountain or near a mountain. Could just be on a flat road on top of a mountain. But anyways, you turn on that AC because you're like, geez, holy geez, it's 110 degrees outside. Whatever shall I do? And you turn the air conditioning on, and that just uses so much energy, and really puts a lot of strain on your engine. Everybody should know this. If you don't know this by now, everybody should know this. Right? So that makes your car overheat faster when you hit the AC. Then your car overheats and everything goes off. And then you're like, oh, damn. Then you're really screwed. I-5 saw a slew of cars overheating. big fat whoopsie. Honduras. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Cape Town, South Africa got it too. They got some too. Let's see. Florida tree cactus becomes first local species killed off by sea level rise. Guys, it's hot in here, man. Let me tell you. I'll tell you what. Key Largo tree cactus no longer growing naturally in U.S. thanks to saltwater inundation and soil depletion. Scientists in Florida have recorded what they say is the first local extinction of a species caused by sea level rise. A climate emergency has killed off the Key Largo tree cactus growing naturally in the U.S. through saltwater inundation and soil depletion from hurricanes, according to researchers from the Florida Museum of Natural History and Miami's Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden. The species, which is now found only in a handful of remote Caribbean islands, northern Cuba, and areas of the Bahamas, was already down to only a single population of 6 stems in the Florida Keys. Those were removed to a greenhouse in 2021 to ensure the species' survival, and frequent searches since have revealed no naturally growing Key Largo cactuses. There is also little prospect of it reestablishing itself despite tentative plans with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for a small-scale replanting project. Gene, I need to adapt. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. God, I'm wearing a white shirt. For crying out loud. I'm trying to stay cool and beat the heat. Let's keep going. For the first time, fiberglass has been documented entering the food chain. Gadzoinks, says Shaggy to Scooby-Doo. Or no, Scooby said it to Shaggy. Gadzoinks! Is that right? Am I right? I don't know. Somebody said it. Researchers found extensive fiberglass or glass-reinforced plastic used in boat manufacture in mussels and oysters off the south coast of England. That's what makes them really tasty. Get a little bit of fiberglass on there. It gives it a little crunch. Let's see. Accept all whatever. Can you guys please go away and stop messing with me? No, I don't want this. I want this. Oh, this website sucks. Let's see. Fiberglass found in oysters and mussels. An alarming first. A study has found concerning levels of fiberglass particles have contaminated the food chain via natural bivalve populations. Let's see. The study, a joint effort from the universities of Brighton and Portsmouth, revealed that fiberglass or glass-reinforced plastic, which is used in boat manufacturing, has been breaking down and contaminating coastal waters. The GRP particles have been detected in the soft tissues of oysters and mussels collected near an active boatyard in Chichester Harbor. I'm going to say that's Chichester. Chichester Harbor, a popular sailing destination in South England. Using micro Raman spectroscopy, Sorry. Raman spectroscopy. Golly, I can barely say that word. That's hard. Spectroscopy. The researchers found up to 11,220 fiberglass particles per kilogram in oysters. That sounds like a lot of particles. And 2,740 particles per kilogram in mussels. The material has been used widely in boat manufacturing since the 60s and had previously been considered durable and harmless, of course. Of course. Well, it's durable and it's harmless. Are you guys seeing this? I don't think so. There you go. There you go. The researchers found up to 11,020. I read this. Material has been used in boat manufacturing since the 60s and had previously been considered durable and harmless. Something in the water. We actually talked a little bit about. Well, we kind of bumped up against Operation Popeye in my show yesterday. So, and we will surely talk about it some more. But did you know? I didn't know that it was a DARPA. That Agent Orange was a DARPA creation. I mean, I know Operation Popeye is about creating rain. I know that. I'm not conflating the two. Although that might have been a DARPA creation too. Probably was. Anyways, DARPA created the Agent Orange and the purple and all the herbicides, defoliants that they use. Anyways, let's continue. Oh, do we need to continue? I don't know. I mean, we got the message. I think we got the news. While durable, the material is difficult to dispose of and often ends up being abandoned or improperly discarded. The tint particles then make their way into the water. This is particularly rife during peak boat maintenance, usually winter seasons. These particles accumulate in bivalves such as oysters and mussels, which are crucial to marine ecosystems due to their filter feeding habits. They're just a cleaning, just a sucking up the water and a cleaning it. Operation Orange Man Bad. Speaking of Orange Man Bad, before we get there to Orange Man Bad, they're both looking kind of orange. Biden and Trump. I think they're both orange. They're both Agent Orange. That's right, Jazz Farm. Agent Orange never went away. They renamed it Roundup. As in round up the deaths to the nearest thousandth or millionth. Let's see. Where was I going? Oh, now is the time when I tell you, if you enjoy the show coming to you for free 99 mostly on the daily. If you enjoy the news, the info, and the conversation you get here, please consider supporting this channel financially, because golly gee willikers, I could use it. And there's lots of links in the description box of the Rockfin and the YouTube, and you can go there and you can check out those links, and you can use PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Coffees, you know. You can super chat, you can super ray, you can Patreon, you can buy a t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. For all of you who support the channel and have supported the channel, you know who you are, and I thank you. I was thinking about talking about something that you've been mentioning, Delene, about the Santa Susana meltdown in Ventura County. I think you've mentioned that before. But I was just listening to something about it the other day. And for those that aren't aware that there was a nuclear facility in California that was operating for a long time and actually had a very large meltdown that was covered up, still covered up to this day. I think what I heard was that it was many, many times worse than Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island. I don't know about that. But we'll, quick overview. We'll probably, I would like to do some deeper dives into this. But as a quick overview, the Santa Susana Field Laboratory in Ventura, California has a long history of radioactive contamination, dating back to the 1940s. The site was used for nuclear research and rocket testing. Numerous accidents and incidents have released radioactive materials into the environment. Oh my God. I don't want to do that deep research, Delene. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. In 1959, there was a partial nuclear meltdown. One of the most significant incidents occurred in 1959. When a partial nuclear meltdown occurred at the site, the meltdown was covered up and the site was not properly cleaned up. The incident released radioactive materials into the air, soil, and water, contaminating the surrounding areas. Radioactive contamination in soil and water. Studies have found radioactive contamination in soil and water samples from the site and surrounding areas. The contamination includes radioactive isotopes such as cesium-137, strontium-90, and plutonium-239, which can cause cancer and other health problems. Residents living near the site, including children, have been exposed to radioactive contamination. The exposure has been linked to various health problems, including cancer, birth defects, and other illnesses. Despite numerous studies and lawsuits, the site has not been fully cleaned up. In 2018, a study found that radioactive contamination from the site migrated into nearby communities during the Woolsey fire. Good God Almighty, that is really infuriating. Radioactive contamination from the site. 60 years after a meltdown. Migrated into nearby communities during a fire. The site is currently owned by Boeing. Did y'all know that? It's owned by Boeing. Great. They're going to do the utmost in trying to get this cleaned up, I'm sure. Boeing has been working to clean up the site. I'm sure they're going full tilt. I don't have an article actually, Bella. I'm reading from some notes that I got from this, and but I'm gonna bring back this issue in some other articles, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. But it's an interesting subject. Obviously, I know Delene has been in the chats saying, "Hey, you're gonna talk about this?" For a long time, I know. Anyways, many residents and activists are calling for more comprehensive cleanup efforts and greater transparency about the site's history and contamination. So that's about it. That's about it for now. But we're gonna look a little deeper into this subject in the coming days. Go away, people. Oh, actually, hold on one second, guys. Hello? Anyway, sorry about that. Woo. Hot as blazes. And full of shadows like the old days. Remember the old Black Bear News slash Red Llama Music? Well, we're under an onslaught of contamination, chemicals, pollutants. Did we talk about the other day the fact that Generation X and future the generations after that are more prone to all kinds of turbo cancers and all kinds of diseases, right? Because they have been exposed to more environmental pollution and probably have ingested through water and food a whole bunch of things that they shouldn't be ingesting. My God, did I tell you when I decided to I was drinking like tap water years ago, and because I was under the impression that the tap water where I lived was pretty clean, and my girlfriend at the time, who is now my fiance, was like, you need to check your water. Like she brought over a water test kit, and I tested the water, and it was off the fucking charts. Contaminated. It was, let me tell you how off the charts it was. It was like, I think a high level of contamination was like 20 or 30, ppms or whatever the reading, whatever the parameters were. Or maybe it was 40. I don't know. It was something like that. 30 or 40. And my water tested at like 230 ppms. I was like, God damn it. That was the last day I ever drank my tap water. And I started, drinking. I don't buy bottled. I mean, I go to get bottles. I have glass bottles that I take to the water getting place, and I get, I don't know, Bella, ppm of something. Honestly, I don't know what the parameters were. I can't remember. It was just I don't remember exactly what the parameters were. Anyways, the scale of the toxicity was something like 40 is bad, and mine was like 230. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my God. This water will kill you. Anyways. I do bathe in it. I mean, what else am I going to do? I don't have like a clean running stream by my house that I can go jump into and take a bath. But I just try not to ingest it. Yeah. My point is that it was really, really high levels. Yes. I don't remember what they were testing for, what the exact, measurement was. All I know is that it was off the freaking charts. Off the freaking charts. Okay. Lastly, let's see. They're trying to convince you that Biden is the green guy. So, I mean, I guess it really sucks that they use climate change as a political weapon. Where is it? Where is it? And this is a problem. This is an issue because they really get people going with this, like, Trump is so bad for the environment. And he is bad. I'm not, again, please don't be one of those people that's like, you love Trump. I don't love Trump. He is terrible for the environment, but Biden is absolutely no better. There is not, both of them are horrible. I'm not even trying to support, I'm trying to say, like, they're wrong in trying to make it all Trump's fault. They're right. They're right. They're right. They're absolutely right. Trump is a wrecking ball for the environment. Absolutely right. But they're trying to get you to think that, like, well, you got to vote for the other side because they are not. No, that is wrong. At least the other side that we know of. The Democratic side that we know of. They are not any better for the environment. They only just say they're better, and that is not enough, obviously. And not a reason to vote for freaking Democrats, okay? So I'm sorry to tell you there's no better option. There's no, like, well, at least he's not Trump, or there is not at this moment in time. Sorry. It's not. I'm not telling you to go vote for Trump. Well, you got to vote for one. Do you? Do you? I mean, there are other people in the race, right? Lots of other people. So, but let's watch this. Somewhat truthful, but also somewhat politically, bullshitty thing here.
Just about everywhere you look right now, climate change staring us in the face, melting our faces, in fact. Hurricane Beryl, that is the earliest Category 5 and Category 4 Atlantic hurricane on record ever in recorded history, ripped through the Caribbean last week before flooding Houston and knocking out power to millions of Texans. Right now, 160 million people, nearly half the country, are currently under some kind of heat alert. Las Vegas hit 120 degrees, Phoenix hit 118, Portland, Oregon, 102. Just to be clear, all three of those are all-time records for each of those cities. It's hot enough to melt crayons just by leaving them in the Vegas sun. It's not going to break until later this week. Now, for decades, as you know, conservatives and Republicans have lied about climate change. There's no other way to put it. They've said it's not happening, or that it is happening, but it's natural, or that actually, no, the world is cooling. All kinds of nonsense. Here's the thing. Things have finally gotten to the point in the last few years, particularly like the last year or two, where they've just run out of room for those lies. Like, you just can't do it. The Republicans cannot tell you the world is not getting hotter, because it very obviously is. And so now they're just trying to, like, yada, yada, yada their way out of it. That is why Donald Trump had no answer when asked about climate change at the debate.
Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Well, let me just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police group.
38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we did.
We had H2O. That's his response. So that's why the word climate isn't even mentioned once in the Republican 2024 party platform. They have no plan to combat climate change. Well, that's not true. They are going to actively try to stop and sabotage the incredible progress being made right now in green energy sources, thanks largely to the Biden administration. Look at this map from the Energy Information Administration. All those yellow spots are utility-scale solar units. The green ones are wind, all coming online by next spring, in the next year. New data shows that back in March, wind power generation, the black line here, overtook coal for the very first time in history. With solar, that blue line not very far behind. But the proposed Republican Party platform says nothing about promoting green energy, just they want to drill, baby, drill. And in Project 2025, the big blueprint for actually governing, the priority is to oppose eyesore windmills built at taxpayer expense, support repeal of massive spending bills like the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs and Inflation Reduction Act that they acknowledge are providing hundreds of billions of dollars in subsidies to renewable energy developers. But it gets worse. Not only do they want to actively destroy this incredible growing industry, employing millions of Americans that could pull off the greatest energy transition since the Industrial Revolution, not only do they have no plan to mitigate the effects of climate change we see all around us, they want to actively make it worse by undoing all climate regulations. Or as Project 2025 puts it, the Biden administration's climate fanaticism will need a whole of government unwinding. There are a few areas where it's just so starkly clear what the choices are in November, and climate is one of them as we watch the world cook.
Okay. So just playing that little piece of propaganda there for you, or, not propaganda, rah, yay for our side. It's unfortunate that they have to do this with climate change instead of, at least they're drawing attention to it. I guess that's good. But yeah, touting the growth and the rise of renewable energy is not so much. We're not even on the same planet as the real solutions, as a real solution. We're definitely not in the ballpark, not even in the state, not in the country of, not even on the planet of real solutions to climate change. So, right. Is Trump worse for the environment? Sure. Worse than what? is the question you got to ask. Worse than what? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, though. So, sorry, I can't help you with that. Okay, guys, I got to take off. I am out of here. I'm going to see if there's anybody to thank. Hemp Car tipped me $2 on Rockfin. Thanks, Hemp Car. Biden is geoengineering the climate. He's worse. He's worse. Wow. Oh, let's talk about this tomorrow, Hemcar. White House is pushing ahead research to cool Earth by reflecting back sunlight. Worthy. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Thanks for the link, Hemcar, and the tip. Yeah, it is a good squeeze record, isn't it? Don't know if there's anybody else. Don't know. I don't think so. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for being here. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight. I was supposed to fix my backdrop. I'm not fixing. Do you want me to spruce it up a little bit? I don't know. I think it's a fine backdrop. It's kind of some boxes and stuff, but I don't know. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. And especially, thank you for the conversation.